Hey guys, I'm esthetician 𝘸𝘸𝘸𝘠, and today I'm going to talk about how I became a medical esthetician. Well, first of all, you have to go to school to be an esthetician. So I went to school from fall of 2013 until spring of 2014, and I graduated. It took me about 9 months to clock 750 hours. So at a school like what I went to, it's a beauty school, so you clock hours just like a cosmetologist would do. And then you can go on to take extra certifications. So you could take like a weekend class, a week-long course. A lot of times you can even find courses for one day. So that's what I did. I originally studied psychology, not that that's necessarily important, but eventually I wanted to do some other kind of way to help people. So that led me into skincare. So I graduated from the spa school, which is in Columbus, Ohio, 2014. And then I started, and if you see me look off to the side, I'm trying to look at my notes so I don't forget every little detail. My first job was at a Massage Envy. Now that was not where I wanted to work at all. I did not want to work for a chain spa, and I really didn't want to work for a spa at all. I just wanted to work in a medical practice. Now, most medical practices are going to expect you to have experience other than school. So it's very rare, I would think, that you could get a job right out of school in a medical practice unless you know someone who knows someone who knows someone. Or maybe you could get a job as the front desk worker, and sometimes someone may even send you to school for this. So that may happen, but the chances are going to be really slim for you to become a medical esthetician without any experience other than school. And at first I was kind of grumpy about that. I really had my heart set on medical aesthetics, and I studied really hard in school. I really focused on the medical side. And so I knew I was qualified, but realistically, I probably wasn't. So I think it actually is a good thing for estheticians to get a bit of that spa world first. And I personally like to bring the spa world into the doctor's office. So I don't want it to feel like, oh, we're just in a doctor's office and everything's just bright lights and that kind of scary feeling, because some people feel a little scared when they go to the doctor and they get anxiety. So I wanted to bring a little bit of that spa world here. So I have a table just like you would have at a spa, and I dim the lights down. I have the hot steam towels. I do a lot of things that I would have done at a spa. So I'm very grateful that I have that experience now, but I was a little grumpy back when I first graduated. So don't get discouraged and quit altogether if that happens to you, because you do have to work your way up to a job like this. So like I said, I started working at a Massage Envy. I had applied to other jobs first. I applied to different medical practices. I applied to other spas because, like I said, I didn't want to work for a chain place, and I'd heard negative things about working for a chain spa, that you have to sign. You have to be really careful when you sign contracts, because some of them do it in such a way, especially if you're in a bigger city, that if there's so many miles in between your spa, and especially if they're a chain place like Massage Envy, if there's multiple Massage Envies throughout the city, technically, if you sign their contract that you can't work within 7 miles or 10 miles, whatever, that could keep you from getting another job nearby. So they could legally take you to court and make you quit your job that you get somewhere else, or they can sue you. So it really sucks. So be very careful signing contracts. Fortunately, our teacher in the spa school really talked a lot about that. So she told us some horror stories so that we would be more careful. Sorry, I feel like my glasses are gross. I've been working all day, and this is not going to be edited. My computer's down, so we're just gonna get this in one shot. So let's see. So this one spa I interviewed at seemed really awesome, and she was talking about all the training she was going to give me. Well, then she breaks out the contract, and she says, by the way, if you break this contract, and I think I had to work there at least a year, maybe 2 years. If I break that contract, I have to pay her $1,500 for training. And it was basic training. It wasn't like she was sending me to a school. She wasn't sending me to advanced courses. It was literally her just showing me around and saying, this is how we do things here. It's like, no, not happening. Because if the job sucks, if you don't like your coworkers, if you don't like the money, you're stuck. Unless you want to pay $1,500, and yeah, no thanks. So, didn't do that. I had actually got an interview at OSU Plastic Surgery, which was in Columbus, Ohio, and I was super stoked. It was a 2-hour interview. I thought, oh my gosh, I have this, because who wants to hang out with someone for 2 hours for no reason? But then they didn't call me back, so I was super bummed and thought, oh my gosh, I blew it. But part of it, I think, is I just didn't have that experience. So while working at Massage Envy, I learned a lot of massage techniques, so that was very useful. We learned a lot of massage techniques in school, but Massage Envy really hit that hard since they are Massage Envy. So when you go to Massage Envy, what do you think of? A massage. So even in the facials, they taught you to do very nice massage and very relaxing facials, and they had really hardcore, strict protocols that you had to go by. So you had to use this or this cleanser, depending on the facial that the client was getting. So you only had so many options, and so I didn't like that because it was so strict. I like to customize facials, and I didn't have that flexibility there, so it really made me grumpy, because they're like, you can use one or the other mask. I'm like, what do you mean I can only use one or the other? Because I'm oily through here, so I need something to address the oil. And then I'm dry out here, so I need a hydrating mask. They're like, well, you can't do that. I'm like, well, you all suck. I've heard they've improved a lot since I worked there, but there were things that really irritated me badly working for places like that. And I'm just so thankful that now I am the expert, so I get to do whatever I want. I don't have anyone micromanaging me. I don't have a strict protocol that I have to go by. So you will get there. Don't get discouraged. Hang in there. So I worked at Massage Envy for about a year, and then I had been looking at this place called Signature Dermatology, a dermatologist's office in Hilliard, Ohio. And I kept stalking them because I kept noticing that they were hiring for a front desk position. And I applied, and I called, and Dan, the office administrator, answered, and he's like, well, I just hired someone. So I was like, dang it. So I talked to him for a little bit anyway, and then I noticed like a couple months later, there was another opening, which is usually a red flag if they're losing people that quickly. But I called again, and I'm like, so I applied a couple months ago, and you said you hired someone, but I noticed your position's open again. And Dan's like, he probably thought, well, this chick is kind of annoying, but at the same time, she apparently wants to work here. So he gave me a chance. He's like, why don't we meet this Friday? Because I do remember your name. It's like, yeah, this crazy stalker lady is calling again. So he's like, I would actually like to cross-train you, not only as the front desk worker, but also as an MA, working alongside the doctors, taking notes and doing certain laser treatments. So I was like, yeah, totally. So started working there. That was 2015. And I worked there for over a year. I loved my job there. I didn't love so much being the front desk employee, but again, it helps you understand more. So now I'm not only the esthetician here at this practice at Marshall Plastic Surgery, I also manage the aesthetic practice, so I work a lot with our front desk workers. So I'm able to understand how annoying their job can be, and I can understand their expectations and things that they need to be doing to run the practice more smoothly. But I also understand how annoying it can be to be that worker and therefore I try to show them more respect and be a lot more nice than sometimes I was treated. But Dan overall was pretty cool to me, and really liked it there. I thought he was a little hard on me because he would really get after me about grammar and things, and I'm like, do you not see what so-and-so wrote in the appointment tab? Like, she can't even spell. But I didn't want to say that, but one day I just was like, why are you so picky to me? And he's like, because I expect more from you, because you're going to be working with the doctors. You're going to be taking their notes. It has to sound right. Like, the grammar has to be, perfect, because they're faxing these notes to other offices, so it can make us look bad if you're not on top of your game with your notes. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So sometimes your boss is hard on you because they're gonna put you in a different position later, which is exactly what happened. And honestly, it prepared me for my job now. So even though it was frustrating at times, Dan actually prepared me quite a bit. So shout out to Dan. He really helped me out because it helped me get this job, actually. So the only reason I quit that job, they eventually wanted to get another esthetician. They already had one who had been there for a few years. I'm actually still friends with her and talk to her quite a bit here and there. I shouldn't say quite a bit. I haven't talked to her lately, but I do stay in contact with her. And where was I going with this? Oh, I started working at 𝘸𝘸𝘸 Salon and Spa in Huntington, West Virginia, and that is because I moved back home. And I moved back home to take that job. Partly, I took it because I had wrote a status that I wanted to move back home, and then the owner of that spa contacted me and said, I actually do need an esthetician. The owner really made me feel like I was going to make a lot of money and that she was turning down tons of business. But once I got there, that was not the case. I was making more minimum wage than anything, and that's what's so frustrating about working at spas, that want to pay you either only commission, or like, she was nice and would pay me at least minimum wage if I did not have those clients, which unfortunately was a lot more than I had expected. But so at least that was nice of her. But it really sucks to go to school, work your butt off, pay all this money for your license, and then come out and make minimum wage or not much more. You're just like, I know people in the industry can sometimes be like, well, people shouldn't expect to make all kinds of money right out of school. No, but I expect to make way more than minimum wage if I paid $10,000 for school and then worked my hind end off, and then went and I even paid for extra certifications. Like, my dermaplaning cost a few $100s just to get certified. So all of this was not free, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm like, to go work at places like that was very frustrating, but just hang in there. So what I would do is I would work a side job. So I ended up helping my friend. She was a general manager at a Wendy's nearby this spa. So I would go there in the morning, help make salads and all this stuff, and then I would literally get dressed in the restroom. I went from wearing my Wendy's uniform to wearing fancier clothes, because at this spa you had to actually dress casual. You didn't wear scrubs like I wear now. Much rather wear scrubs, but it was kind of fun to dress up, but you just had to think about it too much. Also at Massage Envy, I did work at Texas Roadhouse still. So I was a server at Texas Roadhouse while I went to school. So I kept that job for a little while, and I worked both just until I built up a clientele at Massage Envy to where I didn't feel like I needed to depend on Texas Roadhouse, because that's the thing about these spas. Like I said, if you're making almost minimum wage, if you have rent, if you have a mortgage, if you have a lot of bills like most people have, it's just really hard to get by with one job, especially if you're single. So that's what I did. I worked multiple jobs for a while. And while I was working at 𝘸𝘸𝘸, a girl who used to work at this job came in to get her eyebrows waxed, and she met me that way. And I asked, what do you do? And while I was waxing her eyebrows, and she mentioned this job. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I really miss being in a medical office. And she's like, well, we're actually thinking about hiring an esthetician. You should apply. So I did, which the only thing I could find on the website was a desk position. But by then I was thinking, if I can just get my foot in the door, just like at the dermatology office, if I can just get my foot in the door, maybe it would lead to bigger opportunities. Because Dan did want to make me another esthetician at some point. They just weren't busy enough yet to justify giving me that promotion. But I think it would have came eventually. But like I said, I only worked there a little over a year, and then I moved back home. So worked at 𝘸𝘸𝘸𝘸, and then I applied to this job as a front desk position. And my boss, Charles, called and said, I saw your application for the desk position, but I noticed you're also an esthetician. We've been considering getting an esthetician, so I'd like to meet with you and talk about that if you'd be interested. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I wanted to scream, like, so happy, but I didn't. I was just like, oh yeah, sure, So I meet with Charles, and basically he told me I'd have to just start from scratch. Like, they've never had an esthetician here. I would order everything that an esthetician would need. I would tell them what I could do to help them out. So went home, brainstormed, made a list, and then I met with the doctors a couple days later maybe, and met with all three of them. Two of the three were like, I definitely want you here. We need an esthetician, and when can you start? And then the other doctor was all business, and he's like, well, I don't know if how much were you hoping to be paid? What would you be doing? I mean, he wanted to know, what can you do for us? Do we really need you here? You know what I mean? And I thought, I don't know if this guy likes me, because he was just so serious. And it's funny because I love him to death now. He's like the office dad. But apparently he liked me because they brought me in. And so I had to order everything, start from scratch. I mean, from the spa table to the sheets, the blankets, every little thing you need. I didn't have to worry about that before, because I'd worked at 2 spas that had everything I needed, like wax pot, wax strips, brushes. I mean, all these things. And I would place these big orders to get all this. And then 2 days later, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot this, just random things. Like, you had to order your towels and things, because they didn't have stuff like that here. So it was kind of cool that I got to customize everything to be the way that I want it. So I do like that, and it is going to be hard someday when I have to hire another esthetician, because I'm so used to having it just be my room and just be my space, and I don't have to deal with someone being dirty, or maybe they don't clean up after themselves, or they don't put things back the way I like it. So right now it's cool because it's just me, but at the same time, I do want to get so busy that we have to hire another esthetician. That is the goal. And plus, I can trade services with them, so I definitely need to get someone in here, right? So that is how I became a medical esthetician. And when I got this job, I had a little bit of laser experience with Signature Dermatology. We were able to do stuff with vitiligo, and I worked with a Synetics laser, and that is to restore hair loss. So it helps hair grow back. And some patients respond to that and some don't. So that was a neat little experience in itself. But for the most part, I had to work at the front desk, but I did get to work with the doctors, and I saw at least 4 surgeries where they removed skin cancer. But I really didn't work with them as much as I had hoped. But all in all, even though that was not my ideal job either, since I wasn't really doing facials and things like that, it did lead me to this job. So always remember that some things are stepping stones to get to where you're going. So I hope this was somewhat encouraging for you if you're feeling stressed out, especially if you're in a position like I was in, and you're mostly making minimum wage and commission only, and you're like, oh my gosh, I only have 2 clients today, I hope we get some walk-ins. Just really market yourself. Make a Facebook, make an Instagram, make really nice business cards, spa menu, things you can pass out. Meet people, go to your nearby areas and just really market yourself and let people know you're there. Don't be afraid to do that. And even if you're not where you want to be, it can lead you to where you do want to be. So Charles actually mentioned that he looked at my Facebook page, which was Esthetician Trish McCarty. If you don't follow me, make sure you do. Same spelling on Instagram. He saw all my reviews. So I would ask my clients, patients, whatever you want to call them, I would say, depending on where I was working, will you write a review on my Facebook page, your experience? And I had 5 out of 5 stars, and he's like, I can tell that your clients really like you. And I also talked to Dan, and he said that he would definitely hire you back if you ever wanted that job, and he really spoke highly of you. So all of those things helped me get here. So even though I didn't love working at a front desk position, Dan helped me get this job in a way, you know? So having that medical background, even though I mostly worked the front desk, that helped me get this position. So a mix of being in a medical office plus the spa, having that knowledge of doing skincare treatments, that was enough experience to get this job. And when I started working here, they sent me for laser training. So they paid for all my training to be fully certified in laser treatments that I do. They sent me to 𝘸𝘠𝑚 University to be certified to do cool sculpting. They've paid for me to get collagen pen certification to do microneedling. They've done a lot of great things for me, so I am super grateful to be here. And I mean, it is awesome to be here. So I really love my job. I don't dread going to work. The manager part of it can be a little hectic sometimes because I do things that aren't necessarily fun, but they are necessary. So all in all, though, it's a really great job, and I hope you found this video helpful. Comment down below any questions that maybe I didn't address, and sorry I'm so scattered trying to remember everything and do this in all one take. So if this helped you, please give it a thumbs up. That helps me a lot. Make sure you share it with any of your future esthetician friends or friends who are estheticians, and thank you so very much. Follow me on all my social media, all that good stuff. Bye. Have a great day.